Good afternoon everyone, I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me in the studio today. Again, I think this might be the 4th day running where we have been live for you guys at home. I truly hope that the shows are helping you get through this troublesome time and that you are getting some inspiration, some help, a little bit of guidance for your craft therapy. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Toni and I'm a guest presenter over on Create and Craft, and I love anything to do with dies, stamps, all the good stuff that we normally talk about when we are live. I can see everybody's fabulous comments below, so hi Sue, Brian, Lorraine, Tracy, Adele, Bridget, hi everybody, thank you for tuning in again. I've got some lovely demos I'm going to show you today, something a little bit different, and we're going to use some of our lovely products that I launched yesterday that will be launching live on Create and Craft this coming Sunday. I have a couple of things to tell you about. We have some updates. Our iMala show, which was scheduled for Friday, has now been brought forward to Monday. Okay, so it's a note for your diaries. If you're tuning on Friday, a week tomorrow, I won't be there. They've brought it forward to Monday and the hours are 1:30 and 6:45. So make a note in your diary and then I will be there. Obviously it's normally Carly, but today, sorry, for that show you are going to have me, and fingers crossed I'll be able to fill Carly's boots for those 2 45-minute shows. With relation to our shop, we are open tomorrow 10 till 3, craft therapy as normal, and we'll also be opening Saturday 10 till 3. We are following the government guidelines, so if you are visiting, the shop is large enough for you to keep that social space. So if you're worried thinking you're going to come and you're going to be elbow to elbow with somebody sat down, or you're going to be walking around the store and bumping into people, that's not the case. It's a super large store, so it enables you to keep your social distance. A lot of you are still out and about, and that is absolutely great, but we still need to take those guidelines and be mindful of what's going on around us. I'm not going to talk too much about it. It's not boring, it's not essential, should we say. It's the outside world. For this hour or so we're going to be indoors and we're going to be crafting, taking our minds off things. There are a couple of other things that I need to tell you about, and I'm sorry to talk all the time. If you are not a member on our Eureka fan page, you need to go and join the fan page like now or yesterday, simply because the lovely Elaine from our design team is posting a craft along, should we call it. So every Monday Elaine's going to post a board on the Eureka fan page, and it's going to have a colour theme, and within that week we want you to get involved, take your mind off things and make something that's within that colour theme and using a Stamps by Me product. And it can be anything, it doesn't have to be a card, a picture, a painting, it can be a hat, a scarf, some knitting, some crochet, some embroidery, anything you want. So just, we're doing like a colour challenge. So on Monday Elaine's going to be posting the new board for Monday, and then the whole week you just post your pictures on to the attachment that Elaine's popped on there, and then on the Friday I'll pick a winner and you will receive a gift from us here at Stamps by Me. And then the next Monday it will be a different theme. So please do join in, please do craft along. I'm going to be doing it too, albeit I can't win anything because I'll be choosing the winner, but I'm still going to do it because it's still going to take my mind off things as well, and the design team are so excited about it. So I do encourage you to keep your eye out for that one as well. So great idea, it is a good idea, and I know it's going to get you all involved. So in today's studio I'm going to be using the lovely dies that we launched yesterday. You saw me use some of the circle ones yesterday. If you've missed any of the shows, they are YouTube shows, so they never disappear. So as long as you're subscribed and you click that bell, you'll always get notifications when I'm live, and you'll also be able to go back and watch them anytime. They never disappear, okay? I do also post the makes that we make live in studio after the show, and if you comment you can be in with a chance of winning a studio card. So that's super cool. So I have sent some out already, and I believe some of you have already received them, and they're on your mantelpiece. I did get your message. Unfortunately I can't remember the lady's lovely name, but she has told me it's pride of place on her mantelpiece, so I'm super pleased. That's cheered me right up today, and I will get the other ones sent out today hopefully. Tomorrow I'm at Create and Craft with a sales show, and there are some super bargains, so I do encourage you to check out the schedule on that one and have a look at what we've got in the sale. And then Sunday, it's a given, we do launch our brand new products that I've been showing you for the last few days. So I'm just looking down to see if there's any questions. If you do have any questions, don't forget to pop them below. And if I see them, I will answer them, but just be mindful that when I'm crafting, I forget to look up. So I will try and monitor them and stay on top of them. So in today's studio, I'm going to be using these two lovely dies. So yesterday we used the circle ones, and in today's studio, I'm going to be using these rectangular ones. I know a lot of you loved the circular ones yesterday, which is fabulous. So today we chopped it up and we're going to use the rectangle ones. I'm going to show you how to create a different looking card using this one. Super excited about these. So I have a handful of cards here just from the design team to show you what sort of looks you can achieve using these rectangle ones. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit different. So I'll just show you this one. So this one is one of the rectangle ones with some gilding wax on top there. As you can see, it's bright gold, super gorgeous on there. Bright watercolour background. And then we have this one. I think these have all been made by lovely Marilyn on the design team, and these are the ones that I had to hand. There we go, so you can see how pretty they are. And then what about a paper piece in gold mirror? So you can see there we go, how gorgeous they are. So I did get asked several times for smaller dies, and I have given you that. Although they are still bigger than the average dies, they are smaller than our traditional sizes. So I've had a lovely message off a lady today saying, please can you pop on the website the size of the dies? And I always forget to do that, just simply because it's on the packaging, but then it's no good on the packaging if it's not on the website. So I am mindful of that, and I will start putting sizes onto the website as well. So if you are watching now and you are wanting to know the size of these rectangle ones, they are 8.9 centimetres by 11.4. So make a note of that. All of them are the same size. So this works with this one. They all integrate perfectly together. So 8.9 by 11.4. The circular ones are 11.2 by 11.2, which I think is just over 4.5 inch. The squares are 6 by 6. And the rectangles are a 5 by 7. There we can see there. So 12.1 by 17.1, which is approximately a 5 by 7. So I will get the sizes popped on there, but if there is anybody watching right now and wants to know the sizes, those are the sizes. And at least you can rewind me, or you can fast forward me if you don't want to hear me talking all the time, which is fine. You've got that capability to do that. So let's set these to a side and let's crack straight onto our lovely demos. So I'm just going to get my cutting plates. So yesterday we did some lovely paper piecing, and today we're going to do a bit of colouring using them a little bit different. So I'm just going to pop this white cardstock on here, and I'm just going to pop two of the designs onto this white cardstock. I'm going to cut them at the same time so you can see there. So this is just normal 250 GSM, and I'm just going to run this through the machine, give it a good old push so it die cuts beautifully. So I'm using my cut and boss. These will go through your snap as well. I'm not sure about the smaller machines. I don't have a really small machine, but they'll definitely go through your snap too. So just take those dies out of there. You can see how lovely these are. So if you kept them as a piece on its own, if you left the white hint, look, it looks beautiful. Can we see that there? Looks gorgeous. But I am going to pop the white out because we don't need that today. We're not paper piecing today. And then you end up with this detailed. And these bits I need to stay in because this is going to be part of my technique. So I'll just set that one aside. And then there we have this one, which is quite pretty because it looks quite thistle-like, this end here. So it's a little bit different in the sense you get like a thistle on the end. Now don't forget, these could be used as stencils. This second part that I've just removed could be used as a stencil. You could stencil through this one and you could use it like we did our lamination stencils 2 days ago. Can you remember where we made it look like a fake watercolour card? You could do that with these. Stencil through them in a light coloured ink pad and then add the colour. That video is still there, it hasn't gone. So if you are wanting to know what I'm talking about, you just need to go back 2 or 3 days. I'll move those out of the way. Before I came to where I did already cut a few of the same dies, like so. And what I've done is, on one of the, can we see that here? There we go. So on one of them, I need the pieces to stay all in. Say for instance this one. And then on the others, we need to pop the elements out. I've cut 3 here. First one, all the pieces in, and then the second 2, we need to pop all of the pieces out, and the same applies for this one. I'm not going to move these ones around too much because I don't want the bits to drop out. So I'm going to use my pokey tool here. I'm just going to take out all of these little embellishments. Now they're super easy to pop out, just use your pokey tool or a knife, whatever you've got in your stash. And then we'll take these bits out of the leaves too. See there, so it's all out there, all the details out, and you get the lovely pinprick detail around, so it just elevates the actual design when it's got a little bit more added detail in there. Just had a great idea, and I'm going to tell you about it because you might want to try it at home. 1 second. Just 1 second. Just had a great idea, and it's too good an idea not to tell you about it. So if I stenciled through this in green and yellow and then removed it, I'd have a big yellow space and a big green space. If I popped this over the top of the stencil and then stenciled through in the same yellow and the same green, I would have a dimensional daffodil, would I? Would I not? Yeah, I would. So you could use both parts as a stencil, and stencil, and you would get a realistic daffodil. Just saying. Is that a good idea? So everybody's still okay. If you see me looking into the fresh air, I'm not looking into fresh air, I'm just reading your lovely comments and keeping myself up to speed with what you're all talking about. Second design, I'm going to pop out those bits again. It's not too complicated, there's not hundreds of thousands of bits, there's nothing worse than having a die that needs hours of poking out time. Three on this little piece here. So we've got our lovely design there, so that's one. And then we'll do it on this last one, and then we're ready to move on to our next technique. Like so. So we've got 3 of each. Glue to hand, tape pen or double-sided tape. What I'm going to do in a second, I'm just going to turn over my design, the one that's got all the elements inside with none fallen out. I'm going to turn it over like so, and the second design, because we're going to do 2 cards, get rid of all those ugly bits, pop them down. I'm just going to pop some tape behind, and all that's going to do is hold all those bits in place for me. They're not going to pop out. It'll keep them all intact whilst we come to construct. Like that. And then I'm just going to leave them in situ because we don't need to touch them for the time being. Just detangle this one. I'll just get rid of all of these bits. So I'm just going to take 2 of the designs. Just move those out of the way. So I have my daffodil and my daisy. I'm just grabbing some card here. So let's add some colour to these. Now you could use your watercolours, you could use your pens, your pencils, whatever works for you. So I've got a daffodil here, so I'm going to go ahead and pick some lovely yellow. I'm using my alcohol markers, but if you haven't got these alcohol markers, don't worry about it. You will have something in your stash that will work. So I just need something a little bit darker than that one. Let's go with this one. I will write the colours down for you that I do decide, so you can follow along if you wish. Let's try this one. Yeah, that's more of a daffodil orangey. So we have Y35, YR32. Just keep them in shot for you so you can see exactly what I'm doing. YR32. So using my brush nib here, I'm just going to colour the whole of this element here all over. Now I have just used white cardstock, and I know I'm using my alcohol markers and I tell you to use super smooth, but we do forget, don't we, when we come to do our die cuts. So it is normal card, but I'm confident I'll still get a nice result because it's not an overwhelming area, it's quite small. So I've got that all covered in yellow there. And then I'm going to swap it out for my other colour. I'm just going to add a little bit of detail, a little bit of dimension by going from the centre and pushing out. And alcohol markers always dry back lighter, so have the confidence, you know, to bob that colour on. And like I always say, if it don't work, we'll bob it in the bin. It's a piece of card. Let's go for some greens. GY47. I'm just going to pop this one all over. This is quite a nice spring card. This should make us all smile, hey? You can see when we move it out of the way, it's far prettier without all the ugly mess underneath. And just maybe see if I've got a darker one in this collection that we could add over the top. Let's add a little bit of brown, just to cast that shadow. A little bit, not too much. Like so. So can we see this here? Looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Now, I always say that when you're crafting, always get rid of those ugly, you know, the sides. Take your pen on the side and get rid of the awful white edge. Now, it's not as prominent when you use a lighter colour like the yellow, you will get away with it, but when you're using like this green here, you really are going to have to go in with that pen and just hide your makings there. It just tidies up your work a little bit, you know. And anything we can get to help us tidy up our work is great. Right, let's frame this lovely artwork, and the colour, the frame across the outside, I'm not going to leave as white. I am going to make it a coloured frame. So this is quite scary now, because what is going to work? Let's see what this colour looks like. Let's go for it. So this is B68, Bravo 68. So I'm just going to colour my frame. All the way around. And again, I am going to have to go in and get rid of that nasty white. Mind you, am I going to have to do that? Because we are mounting it onto white, so it's still going to have that white edge. So no, you don't have to hide that nasty white edge. So just make sure it's all covered on the front at the very least. Make sure I've got lots of colour on there, it's super bright. There we go. So we can see that there, how gorgeous is that one. So I'm just going to turn this over for our next one. Let's just set this aside then, and let's do our second one. So I have this one, so let's chop it up, let's do something different. Shall we go pink this time? RP89. RP89 as a pink, and then we're just going to lay this pink all over. Let's make it look a bit gerberified, wear nice and bright colours. Like so, so I've got that coverage down there. Let's just do the bud. Like so. So we've got a lovely lay down of colour there with the pink. Let's go a shade darker, and this is P85. Oh, that's a bit dark. I haven't got the confidence to go that dark, and that is more purple. So this is the great thing about having the pens in lots of various colours, because you can actually, yeah, let's go with that one, that's super bright. And this one is RP6. So you can, if you have got the pens, you can buy the re-inkers as individuals too. So if you're running low on a specific pen colour, and it's a colour that you use all the time, you can simply buy the re-inker for the pens and obviously hydrate that specific pen. You don't ever have to buy a pen again. Just buy the re-inkers, and because we know what you like. If you're anything like me, you'll just use the colours you love and run low on those before you actually need a whole new pen set. So it's a great thing that you're able to re-ink the pens. So I'm just going to go with the same green that we did the other one with. Take it right to the end. So it's coming together nicely. You could spend hours just building, enjoying, layering the colour. Add a bit of different green in there too, just to add a bit of dimension. Let's do that leaf a different colour. Like so. So let's pick the frame colour then. Yeah, unfortunately no school runs. There'll be no school runs for me either, which means you may be seeing my son. Bless him, he was absolutely devastated when he found out school had been cancelled. He absolutely adores school. So for the frame on this one, I've gone Y41, something completely different. Now use whatever pens you've got in your stash. You can obviously buy everything I use in studio. All you need to do is go to our website and pop FBL into the search engine. But you've probably already got pens at home. If you're anything like me, you have the whole range of pens. There we go. So I'm happy with that one. Just pop these ones back for now. I'm very precious about my pens. Let's get rid of that. So you all saw the codes on the piece of paper there, didn't you? So if you do want to do exactly the same colour waves, albeit quite random for me, you can do that too. Right, so let's just get a tidy station and show you how we're going to make these cards a little bit different. I'm just going to push those two with the tape behind up out of the way. I'm just going to push these two, which are the two daffodils. So we have one with the bits poked out and then a coloured one. I'm just going to push that out of the way. Then we have our coloured one and our white one. I'm just going to push that out of the way too. because we're going to move on to the next stage of our card. So I have 2 pieces of white card matte and layered onto some black, just for a little bit of difference today. And then I'm going to be using this lovely stencil. It's just a ricochet of squares, which is super cool because it's going to add some dimension to the back of my card in like panel form. Like so, and because of the lines, it's easier on the eye. You know, it's quite soft. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do the cards very similar but different waves. So on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the colour in a band, and on this one we will do something different, maybe the colour down the left, to show you how different it looks if you just change the position of your stencil. So I've got my grey ink pad here, Generation Inks, but you will have a grey ink pad at home. Yeah, you're right, Denise, he absolutely loves to craft. He asks me every day. So you can imagine my life. I craft at work, I craft in my spare time, and I craft at home with my son. So my life is literally craft. So what I'm going to do is pop that in a line, and I'm going to aim for these. In fact, let's be good for a change. I know it will kill me, but let's be good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tape, and I'm going to tape off this one so no ink goes through, and it is going to be quite a sterile line. I won't have any like smearing through the lines that I don't want it to appear through. And do this one as well, like so. So we've got these 3 like open areas here, 3 lines. You see that there? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This one's covered, and this one's covered to stop me from getting the ink through. And I'm just going to use this grey ink pad. Now I always have a bit of scratch to the side to see if you're happy with the colour before you actually take it straight to your artwork, because once you've started you can't go back, you can't take it off. So I'm just going to take my brush, I'm just going to lightly blend it through left to right on the 3 lines. Like so. Make sure I've got plenty of ink on there, like so. I'm happy with that. I'm not going to do any more to it. And when you take it off, you've got this like chevron-y checked pattern on the back of your card there. So let's do the same with this one, and let's go diamond on this one. So what I'm going to do is, that one's in a line, this one I'm going to pop on a diamond shape like so. Like so. And I'm going to get my tape again, make sure I don't get any of the nasty ink onto the side of that there. There. I need some more tape for the other sides. There we go. And so with the same colour, I'm just going to brush through the colour. So albeit it does look like a square, and when you look at it you think, oh, you've got a square pattern there as a stencil, just twist the design and I'm going to hopefully end up with a nice like diamond shaped pattern here on the background. Make sure go right up to that corner and it'll define that diamond shape. And so for a little bit of difference, what we're going to do is I'll swap that grey out for a pink ink pad. I'm going to add like a shadow of pink too. So if you start from one side and keep your direction all one side, you'll get a shadow down the left, and obviously if you do it from the right across, you'll get it from the right. So I'm just going to brush from left to right, so I'm not going back and forth, I'm just going left to right off, left to right off. You'll get a pink shadow in your squares. I hope this is making sense. So I'm just brushing, I'm not changing my direction. Then when I take it off, you'll see exactly what I mean. It will just catch the left hand side of the square, hopefully. So start at the left hand corner of each square, brush it across, keep your direction all one way. And hopefully you'll get a nice pink shadow, hopefully. If not, it's time to pack in. So we'll get rid of this tape, and it's a good idea to get in the habit of using tape because it does protect your card, so I'm not going to end up with all colour in the areas where I need it to be a white card. It just looks a bit more professional, and it looks like you've taken a bit more time to be considerate as well, I always find. Can you see there? Hopefully it's showing really well. So we've got our lovely two pieces there, two completely different looks. So let's make the card. Let's think about this one. So this lovely white one with all the pieces in, this is going to create our lovely dimensional background. Hopefully the pieces will all stay in. I'm just going to bob a bit more tape on this one to keep that piece in there because it looks like it's going to come out to me. And I'm going to take some glue. I'm going to add some glue. Just in spots. Hopefully it all stays in place. Like so. And I think because we've done some pink on this one, I'm going to go with this one here. So I'm going to try and get it straight in the centre of this card. So all the pieces are still in there. Make sure it's straight. And it's all flat. Stick down. Like so. Oop. And then the second piece where we popped out all the pieces, this is going to give us our dimension on top of. Just give that a second to grab. Sorry, not in shot at all there. And then I'm just going to stick this one directly on top of this one, so the pieces still remain in on the base, but the top one gives us dimension. It's like a sandwich. You have your base, your filling, and then your top. Make sure it's all straight. Now again, you can put a black shadow behind if you want to, you know, 3D if you want to. But I just think yesterday when I showed you it where it was underneath, it looked really, really effective with the coloured top on top. So maybe not pop out all the pieces all the time, maybe leave them in situ because they do look quite effective, I think. And then we're going to take our coloured part, pop our coloured part on, and then this is where our card's going to start coming together. And if you do like 3D and embellishments and running things through your die cutting machine, then this is great, isn't it? I know, what's the lady's name? Tracy. Tracy is a hardcore Stamps by Me fan and loves to die cut all of her embellishments and get them all out on a table and just enjoy them. So it's food for thought for yourselves, really, that, you know, just enjoy it. That's what it's about, isn't it? Life is always in fast forward, and I find at the moment it's time to pause. Literally, it's time to pause, breathe. So it comes together as soon as you pop your coloured layer on top. Remember what I said about the alcohol pens? You don't have to, I've used alcohol pens, but you could simply use, if you've bought watercolours or whatever pens you've got in your stash, they'll all work. I'm certain of it. Just make sure it's lined up. So I've got one embellishment on that one, which I think looks quite effective. Do you think it looks good? Yep, it is a great way. Yep, Tracy, you are very right. So let's put the second one together. Again, same again. The solid part with all the pieces in there. Now don't forget, you could snip away the frame. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this one. I'm not going to put it in the centre, I'm going to offset it to the side slightly, like so. Just to be different, because you would just normally put it in the middle, wouldn't you? Well, today we're not doing that, we're going a little bit crazy. Stick that down. So you could snip these daffodils away, do like a border of daffodils. You can snip the flower out of the frame and use the flower, use the frame as an entity on its own, like this one here, this gold frame here. Can we see that there? This gold frame is from these flowers, and what Marilyn's done is she's cut away the flower that was in there and then laid this big one, which is, if I can find it, is this one, and laid it over that corner, and that just looks so fantastic, and it just shows you that the products all work with each other. And these frames have got pin detail and stitch detail. I think, mind you, have they got stitch? Let me just check. I don't want to tell porkies. I think they all might be pin detail. That's right. The rectangles have the pin detail and the circles have the stitch. So they've got that added detail. And if you want to cut away the flowers and just use a circle, you can do that. And one of my demos on TV on Sunday shows you how we can snip away the flowers and create something completely different to what actually the packaging looks like, which is cool. Then the next one, where we've poked out all of the bits, this is like the centre of our sandwich. This is just going to give it that 3D look and embellish it. Now, again, like I always say, I would cut these 3 or 4 times and get a really good wedge on my card. But when I'm in studio, I do limit my layers. I'm like an onion. I have so many layers. I do have to limit them, or else you'll be sat watching me just build my layers. So this one goes on top, exactly on top. Line it up best you can. Place it down. I think it looks really effective white on white, to be honest with you. Like so. Line it up and you get that like layering effect. It's really, really lovely. And can you see here how the leaves here are raised? I'll just show you on the side. That looks cool, doesn't it? So you don't have to stick them flat. You could sort of like use your bone folder and give those a curl. But because I'm trying to demonstrate the technique that I originally said, I'm going to stick to it. But you could definitely 3D that one up. And then our coloured piece. And then all the way around the edge. I have to say thank you to everybody who's said, please do smaller ones, because I really didn't ever think I'd like them. I really didn't. And now that I've done them, I'm thinking, oh, why have I not done these before? So I will definitely do some smaller ones as well in the future. So I'll just make sure that daffodil's lined up perfectly. So just give it a second to grab. Yeah, that's right, Jeannie. Well done, Jeannie, for winning the card too, sweetheart. I'm going to post it out today for you. And again, if you comment on whatever I've made in studio today, I'll pick 2 more random winners and I'll get them sent out to you. But yeah, beautiful sympathy cards, wouldn't they? Bit of sparkle pen overlay on there. So let's get some pads. Let's get these, oh, see, jumping the gun there. Let's get some sentiments on there. So let's get our Eureka, and I'm just going to stamp them today. We did heat emboss a few yesterday, but I think that the simplicity of the card is going to lend itself really well to just a single stamp. So I'm just grabbing a stamp. Let's go with this one. And I'm going to pop it off to the side, and we'll stamp this one in black. So we'll go with Smile on this one. So you've got a lovely smile on that one. You see that there? And then on this one, let's use this long congratulations, but let's do it a little bit different. Sorry for the headshot, we'll just pop congratulations up the side, make sure it's straight. Is that going to read right? Let me just check. It's probably better if it's readable. So let's pop it up this side so it's a little bit better. And just by swapping that sentiment in a different direction, I smudged it a little bit there, a little bit gutted about that, but never mind. So you could have popped it down here, down the side, down the top. You could actually do congratulations there. Let's do it. Let's do it because we can. Let me just clean that. And because we've got the time to, I'm going to do it. So I'm just, oops, excuse me. So I'm just going to get some tissue here because I've moved the stamp and I've got black ink all over my Eureka. So let's do congratulations there. My belly is going absolutely crazy. Don't ask me why. It's rumbling. I'm not even hungry. Let's pop congratulations here. So in a sense, we're sort of framing what we've done. Making a big deal about our daffodil today. So not press on as hard this time. That's it. And then shall we do one across the top to bring it all together? Do we think? Do we think I'm going to ruin it? Somebody tell me if I'm going to ruin it. I'm going to ruin it, aren't I? Let's stop. I'm going to leave it be. And I've got to send it out, so it has to be right. Can't be cutting any corners. So let's get our artwork mounted. Let's get some pads. I'm just going to use some black ones. That's all I've got at the moment. But you can't really see them anyway, so. Decisions, I know, it's difficult, isn't it? The added pressure. We'll pop this onto our that one there. Does that look like it's moved to you? Or is it, does that look straight? That'll frustrate me if it's not straight. The pink one is stunning. Do you like that one? I'm not sure. There we go. So, there we go. So two completely different card in looks, maybe, do you think? So we have the lovely, excuse the little splodge on the S. You could put a lovely diamante in the centre there. But there we go. Two different looking cards, two different flowers, but that's just using our alcohol markers. Now the scope to use so much more with these, and I have some fabulous demos for us on Sunday, and these would look gorgeous just cutting white onto some patterned paper. Can we decide our favourite? I asked you all yesterday and you were like, no, don't ask us that question. So if you've got a favourite, you'll have to let me know when you pop a comment under the Facebook feed. Thank you so much for joining me. A couple of questions. The blending brushes then, we're just waiting for them. We can't say, we've had no updates for a while now, obviously, with what's going on, but as soon as we do know, you will be the first to know also. Anything else I need to tell you about? I'm not sure, I don't think so. So if you can join me tomorrow live on Create and Craft, I have two fabulous sales shows with some knockout prices, so you can maybe get some bargains should you wish. And I'll see you all as well on Sunday. Oh, and Monday for Imala. I'm going to be busy, aren't I? So have a great evening, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, stay cozy, look after your loved ones, and I will catch you all tomorrow. See you later. Bye.